What's up, everybody? Dog 985. There's levels to this. Quick video for you guys tonight. They won't let Starfield die. Starfield is the game of the generation. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Let me explain this to you, okay? Before Starfield came out, this generation, it was one of the most talked about games, one of the most anticipated games. That's a fact, okay? So Starfield was on gamers' minds before it even dropped, okay? When Starfield dropped, it was one of the more popular games this generation, whether good or bad, it doesn't matter. This is a fact. Starfield was trending everywhere for good reasons, for bad reasons, it doesn't matter. It was definitely a very popular game, okay? Especially a very popular game to talk about, a very popular game to critique, a very popular game for everything, okay? Starfield was so polarizing that people that claimed they did not like Starfield put over 50 hours into it. Now, you imagine doing something by choice that you don't like for over 50 hours. I want you to think about that. You don't like something and you decide to do it by choice for over 50 hours. And this was easy. This was ran rampant on our reviews and everything. I dropped over 200 hours in Starfield. Let me tell you about why it sucks. Left and right. I've never seen anything like this in my life, right? But they never let Starfield die. Starfield was always being compared to something. The game of the generation is the game that gets talked about the most. It's the game that doesn't get forgotten. That to me is the game of the generation. That, oh man, you're not going to forget about that game. This generation, you will not forget about Starfield. Starfield is easily one of the biggest drops, one of the most polarizing drops, and whether good or bad, is the game that continuously keeps getting talked about. And now Hellblade is coming out, right? Hellblade? No, I'm sorry. Stellar Blade. Stellar Blade is coming out, and apparently Stellar Blade has a similar Metacritic score to Starfield. So why is this big news? Well, because Starfield got crushed for having the Metacritic score that it got. However, Stellar Blade is getting all this type of praise. And there's a little bit of ignorance in here because people are claiming that because Stellar Blade wasn't claimed the game of the generation, that it's okay if it has an 82 or 83 Metacritic score. What those idiots don't realize is that an 82 and 83 Metacritic score is a good score. See, that's the problem. But because they're so delusional and they have to stick to their idiotic positioning, they have to still downgrade. Listen to this. They prefer to downgrade Stellar Blade's a score and pretend as if it's not a good score, so that Starfield can't get the praise that it deserves. So what do? Well, Stellar Blade wasn't claimed to be the game of the generation, so that's why it's allowed to have a mediocre score. That's their mentality. But they don't understand that an 82 is a great score. 82, that's a good score. Stellar Blade is a good game from what everybody is saying, right? And a whole bunch of people played the demo and gave it praises, right? So stick to that. Stick to that. It's a good game. The problem is that if you do that, then you have to go ahead and look at Starfield and say that it's a good game as well. But you can't do that because you're disingenuous. Because you're not honest. And some people are talking about Starfield that have never even played it, which is hilarious to me because that's one of the things that the ponies love to do. Don't talk about something you haven't played, but you got to do it all the damn time. You know who you are. You're a hypocrite. You talk about Starfield, you haven't even played it. That's wild. So here's the deal. Starfield is still proving to be the game of the generation because you can't keep it out of your mouth. It's still being talked about left and right. This video will prove that Starfield is the game of the generation. Guarantee it. Watch how well this video does just because it has Starfield in the title. I guarantee it. Guarantee it's going to do well. There's something weird about Starfield that it just does that. You know why? Because it is the game of the generation, whether you like it or not. And I could critique Starfield. I hate the fact that it runs at 30 frames per second on the Xbox Series X. And I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what excuse you want to make. I just don't care. I don't want to hear it. My Asus ROG Ally can run Starfield above 30. That's all I need to know tech-wise. You say whatever you want. It's a closed system. Cool. That's their problem then. Open up the system. Whatever. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to tell you that Starfield was a bad game. Starfield was a phenomenal game. I had an amazing time playing Starfield. I did. And so did a lot of people. People that hated Starfield had an amazing time hating on Starfield, so much so that they played over 50 hours of it. Not liking the game. You imagine not liking the game, playing for 50 hours straight? Well, that's what some people did. People spoke about Starfield. They compared Starfield Steam numbers. They compared Starfield sales, and they claimed that Starfield's not the game of the generation. Yet here we are, still talking about Starfield. A 80 and above Metacritic score is a good score. You know that. I know that. The problem is when it gets thrown in your face and then you got to look at a game like Starfield that you want to claim is garbage, then you look stupid. And people don't like looking stupid. So I see what you do. You prefer to downgrade Stellar Blade and say that it's okay for Stellar Blade to get a bad score, which is not even a bad score, because it wasn't claimed to be the game of the generation. 83 is a 83 is a 83. I would argue, if I wanted to, I could argue that Starfield getting an 83 is even more impressive based on all the expectations they had on it. Ain't no expectations really for Stellar Blade. It makes it easier to rate something high when you're not expecting much of it. You know that's true. But go ahead, you'll be disingenuous again. Dog 1985, there's levels to this. Let Starfield be, man. Stellar Blade is a good game. I'm sure it is. I haven't played it yet, but I'm sure it is. We out. Peace.